Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for being here today for our presentation about cycles, stories, and support, really about navigating PCOS together because, it can be very overwhelming when you have all kinds of symptoms and you don't know how to deal with them. And there's always so many different solutions getting thrown at you, and some work and some don't. And so we don't want to promote band-aid approaches. We really want to get to the root cause and help people to feel the best that they can in their body. And so today I'm joined by my fellow council member, Dominique Jeffries. My name is Naiba Flory. It has been my honor to be on the council for a little over 5 years now, and it's been amazing to be able to have these presentations to share with everyone. And we're always looking for new stories and inspiration to share with the community. So if you have a story about this today, we'll open it up a little bit later on in the call so you can share some of your stories around this subject. And I'd love to open it up to have someone read the pledge. So Dominique, remind me who's going to read the pledge with us today.
Was Alice. Let me go ahead and share my screen and pull up the pledge for her.
There you are, Alice.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, so it says, I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many, and I am the Million Mom Movement.
Thank you so much for reading that. Would you like to share a little bit about what this movement means to you?
Oh, she's muted. You have to unmute her again.
Oh, where are you? My screen keeps moving around. Okay, there you go. Welcome back,
Sorry,
Alice.
I was too quick to mute myself. I suffered from, sorry, the pledge. Sorry, I was thinking PCOS. Just that, yeah, I want to be proactive, not only for myself, but I've got 5 grandchildren, and I just see how environmentally they're suffering from what they're taking in. And I just want to try to help to make a difference in their lives as well as my own.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And welcome to each and every one of you. Each and every one of us makes a difference as part of this movement, in this movement of many. And so we'll dive right into this presentation where we're just sharing, about how to navigate PCOS. And it's something that has been on the rise. PCOS affects 1 in 10 women of childbearing age, and it's really something that affects a lot of women that want to be able to conceive, and there's so many different symptoms that come into play. So what PCOS is polycystic ovary syndrome, if you didn't know what it was, and it's caused by hormonal imbalances in the body. And in this day and age, there's so many precursors to our hormones being imbalanced because we're constantly inundated with toxic chemicals at every turn within our laundry soaps and our dish soaps and our hand soaps and our perfumes and, all of the things, our facial products or our hair products and all the ways. And it can be a toxic overload on our body and on our hormones, and it can cause a lot of effects. That are negative when it comes to, our bodies being sensitive to some of these chemicals. And each and every one of us is different. And so different people will have different symptoms. And some of the symptoms would be irregular cycles, really painful periods, weight struggles, like really easy weight gain or weight loss, acne, cystic acne, hair loss or unwanted hair growth, so some of the places where we don't want to be growing hair on our face or different areas, there'll be more hair growth, mood swings, and infertility struggles. So these can all play into what PCOS is. And it's really the precursors, right? It's the signs that our body and our gut needs help. And it has an emotional impact as well. It can feel really confusing. Doctors often will dismiss certain symptoms or give you band aid approaches with different medications that might help in the moment, but in the long term, it doesn't actually help create a solution. And so we're here to just share that you're not alone on the journey. There are others that have, suffered from these different things, and there are solutions as well. And it's not just about cycles, it's about metabolic health, it's about your energy, it's about your emotional well-being. And so it's really important that you tune into your body and the signs that it's showing you that it needs help and, find those supportive tools that will be helpful for your body. And so what is happening in the body? Within these hormonal imbalances, it's high androgens, disrupted insulin sensitivity, lots of inflammation. These are all signs of hormonal imbalances as well. And diet and lifestyle can really play into that, right? If we're eating a lot of overprocessed foods versus our nutrient dense foods, it can cause, those imbalances in our body where we're gaining weight really quickly, or we're breaking out a lot, or we're really irregular with our periods because all of that has, the overprocessed foods have so many different crazy ingredients in them that's hard to pinpoint which ones that we're necessarily sensitive to, but a lot of them are hard for our bodies to process and digest. And so it can create inflammation in our bodies, which then turns into other health issues. And so there's also the exposure to environmental toxins, right? We're constantly being exposed to different toxins. I kind of mentioned the endocrine disruptors earlier within our hand soaps and dish soaps and laundry soaps and perfumes and, all the things that are constantly around us that we're constantly experiencing, not to even mention when we step out the door into the rest of the world. And then there's things like glyphosate, which has been sprayed on like 75% of our food. So if we are eating conventional foods or we are eating those more processed foods, it's highly likely that some of the ingredients in there have high amounts of glyphosate in them. And that is really disruptive to the gut and can create all kinds of issues with, indigestion or having different issues, just with your microbiome itself and killing off our own um our digestive enzymes and all those things, so it makes it harder for us to process those kinds of foods. Now, there's also high stress and modern lifestyles can also play into, the symptoms of PCOS, because then it's really playing on your own emotions and your hormones and your well-being, your mindset, all the things. And we all live a busy lifestyle. So stress is something that comes into play a lot as a precursor to other symptoms that we have. And so one of the things is insulin is a hormone that your pancreas creates to help move sugar, glucose from the food that we eat out of our blood and into the cells so it can be used for energy. So when our cells resist the insulin, it creates high levels of insulin in the blood, which puts stress on our ovaries and forces your body to create more androgens like testosterone, and that creates to create the balance. So even if it doesn't feel like it. So there's all kinds of reasons why it's important to really flood our body with nutrients and really, learn how to reduce the stress and reduce the overprocessed and toxic environment around us so that we can have a better outcome. And then there's also the poor gut health that I kind of mentioned a little bit with the effects that glyphosate has, right? And that toxin overload can really stress out your liver, and it can also create the hormonal imbalance as well. So it can really impair your hormones and create a lot of stress on your body. And then there's also, the conventional approaches to treat the symptoms. There's birth control, there's medications, but none of those really address the root cause. They're all really like band-aid approaches. And I know so many people that go into get help from their doctor and their doctor prescribes something and then there's side effects. And so they get prescribed something else. And by the end of the journey, they have a basket full of medication and they still aren't feeling better. And so this is something that's real for a lot of people. If that's real for you, you can go ahead and, well, I guess we can't use the comments anymore. But just know that you're not alone. There's other people that are on this journey and it's really hard to find answers and it can be really challenging. And so we're here to offer more support and reassurance that you're not on this journey alone. So I want to go ahead and pass it over to Dominique, and you can go ahead and share on some of the emotional root causes that can really be supportive.
Yeah, no, thanks, Naila. I think you really, when you touch on the part about how really what's happening is that our body is trying to create balance during, PCOS symptoms, or honestly, any type of chronic, condition or health condition. I think it's like our body's just wake up call to say, like, hey, I need support, or I need you to kind of tune back into me so that you can connect to what really needs to be addressed. And when you think about the insulin resistance when it comes to PCOS and how, the body can't really take the insulin to move it through the liver to be released into the cell so that your body can create energy, it's kind of holding on to that insulin, right? It's resisting that flow that it needs to move throughout the body. So if you kind of just look at what's happening overall as a way of like your body doesn't feel safe to release, right? So when we come or we think about it from more of like an emotional lens, or the root cause of that, right, is just allowing our bodies to have space to release and know that it's safe to do so. And like you mentioned, right, stress can cause that. Obviously, the foods that we eat, all those things. But if we kind of look at some of the stress outside of the environmental toxins and the food toxins, we really want to look at what stress is happening in our lives, right? A lot of times, sometimes one of the root causes can be survival, right? If your nervous system is on this high alert, then your cortisol rises and then your body just holds on to that stress. So what we want to do is really think about ways that we can create space and flow and ease so that stress can be moved through the body. Another is like suppressed anger, or maybe holding on to resentment, right? Holding things in can really keep your body locked in tension. And, that stress just starts to add up on a metabolic level. Sometimes it's suppressed anger that might not even be yours, right? It could also be ancestral. And unless we are really being present with our bodies, if we're slowing down, especially as women, to really figure out like what's coming up for us, we might not really know that, or we might not really be present enough to release it. So I do think that, it's important to kind of just tune into yourself and ask and, notice when your body feels like it's under high stress, or if you might just be, holding on to anger or emotions that need to be moved through. Another one is fear around safety or security, right? We talked about survival mode, money worries. Maybe you're in an unhealthy relationship that might make you feel like you're unsafe. Not feeling safe in your body which is your first home. So it does cue, your hormones and your cells to protect you, which is like, hey, I don't feel safe to release this sugar or this fat that, she's holding on to. So let's keep her insulin high. And then it causes just, a ripple effect throughout the body. So kind of really looking at your lifestyle, your relationship with money, your relationship with your romantic partner, your family members, and think about, do these relationships mirror safety for you? Because that can also be a trigger, to your hormonal imbalance. And then another one is overgiving, lack of boundaries. Raise your hand if you are someone that has struggled with lack of boundaries. I know that was something that affected me for a long time, and sometimes still, strengthening. But a lot of times as women, right, we like to overgive. Our entire being is just about being nurturing and to nurture not just others, but to nurture ourselves. So if you are experiencing, PCOS symptoms, it's maybe just a wake up call for you to say like, hey, how can I create a healthy boundary with my work relationship, with my family, with my romantic partner, so that you can stop pouring out all of this energy to others so that your body can create the space to release for yourself, right? Just being able to kind of fill your cup up a little bit in a healthy way. And then also just, shame, self-criticism, As women, we are always just kind of like criticizing how we look and how we show up and things like that in the world. And this is an opportunity for us to love ourselves and to love ourselves where we are in our bodies. I know when Naiva mentioned, some of the symptoms with PCOS that can affect your body when you have higher levels of testosterone that can create, hair growing in certain spaces, maybe can cause you to hold on to excess inflammation and weight. That kind of adds to that stress, or maybe even adds to that self-criticism. So we can create, a healthy space and community, just like, a call like this, where you can feel safe and feel loved for exactly where you are right now. And also just affirming that these symptoms that are coming up are really your body's way of saying, I love you enough to raise these flags up so that we can create change, right? And you wouldn't be on this call if you weren't, open and receptive to, transforming your lifestyle in some way. So you are in a great space. And we just want to also just remind you that any shame or self-criticism that you might be holding on to, this is a great opportunity to kind of, love yourself through that. And yeah, just allow yourself to give yourself grace through this journey, right?
Absolutely. I love that. And so I wanted to open it up and see if we have any stories around PCOS. If anybody wants to come on, just go ahead and raise your virtual hand and you can share some of your experience with us. Nicole, I see your hand is raised. Do you mind coming on camera to share with us today?
I am not. I'm like 6 days
Okay.
postpartum sitting here with my
Okay.
baby. But I
Well, thanks
just
for
wanted
coming
to
on.
share, yeah, I just wanted to share what my journey was like because it's like how I have a baby now. And I have actually two kids now. So back in 2020, I had a super high stress job and I was having all of the symptoms that you're describing of PCOS and just sleep issues, poor gut health, cystic, like the list goes on with what I was having. And I love what Dominique said about these symptoms and signs are a way that your body is saying, okay, you need to tune into me now. You need to give me some attention. So I was dealing with all of that. And then that's when I really was like, okay, I need to address this, but I don't want to do it in a way that isn't going to actually fix it and get to the root cause. I didn't want a band aid solution. And I had a friend introduce me to the ULT, which is amazing. And it was those simple changes that made my entire life shift. And a lot of it was also due to stress. So, addressing the stress that I had. And sometimes you have to take extreme measures. So, like for me, a lot of my stress came from the job that I had. So, I had to get a new job. I had to find a new job, one that wasn't going to stress me out. I learned about the difference between organic food and regenerative food and food that had chemical pesticides on it, and I completely changed my diet in, an instant really because it was almost like desperation of like I have to do something right now. Like otherwise I'm going to continue to go down this decline. So I completely changed my diet in terms of what I was putting in my body and the ways that I was eating. So a lot of times I would skip meals or just go without eating because I was so busy or stressed, but it was eating every couple of hours to continually fuel your body. And then nourishing my body with all those foods. And I think another major thing was like, again, addressing the root causes. And I just did that through herbs. Like your liver is so important, your liver health, your gut health, the health of your pituitary. There's so many things that are so important to look at when you're addressing PCOS. And then also, again, going back to incorporating the basics. So, like exercising regularly, which I always call movement, because you don't have to do this huffing and puffing workout, and you actually shouldn't when you have PCOS. And that movement is going to be so supportive of so many different elements of your recovery and just removing those symptoms, getting sunlight on a daily basis, hydrating and drinking water, just like things that you might neglect some from time to time, which are actually pretty easy to incorporate. Those are the things that are free to incorporate. So that is how I was able to start to reverse a lot of those symptoms. And it took about 5 months to completely reverse everything. But again, I went to the extreme in terms of like complete lifestyle change. And it doesn't always have to be like that. You can take steps and move slowly. But the more, I feel like the more you do, obviously, the quicker the results you're going to see, the more you're going to be able to obtain more quickly. And so then another reason why I wanted to do this, not only to reverse symptoms, but to be able to have a healthy pregnancy, a healthy baby, and to get pregnant on, the first time if possible. I didn't want to struggle. I see so many people struggle with infertility, and I did not want to struggle at all. So going into that, I knew I had a healthy body. And my husband and I, we got pregnant the first time with our daughter, had a healthy baby girl in 2022. And then now, the second time we got pregnant, the second time we tried and just had a healthy baby boy 6 days ago. So all of that to say is it's completely possible to reverse those symptoms with the simple lifestyle changes and addressing the root causes of what is causing those symptoms in the first place. So tuning into your body, listening to your body, and then everything that I've had from Imperium too is like carrying me through, carried me through pregnancy, like the preconception prep, pregnancy, postpartum, where I just, like you have good milk production. It's like a healthy, beautiful color, all because of the way that I'm nourishing my body. So I just wanted to share that inspiration for anybody who's struggling and just needs a little glimmer of hope. There's a ton of hope. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for coming and sharing your story. And congratulations on your new little baby boy and your growing family. And, for sharing so much inspiration with us today because, there was so much that you shared that I can touch on. But even going to the lengths of, changing your job and
Mhm.
completely, changing your diet and learning, it's a learning curve where we don't know what we don't know. And so that's why we're here to just share the solutions that we've found. And I really appreciate you coming on and sharing what you found that really has worked for you.
Yes, thank you.
And Nicole, before I just saw you mute, but if you want to share, I know the ULT, you mentioned the ULT was the basis. Was there any other
Yes.
superfoods that you incorporated that you felt like were really supportive on your journey?
Yes. So, yeah, the ULT for sure, but then I also always do Epigenius, and that is amazing. And then I do the unflavored power shake, which I love. And I also do cocoa hydrate. Like I even had cocoa hydrate in labor, and that is like so amazing and hydrating for your body. Um, a couple other things that have helped with preconception prep through pregnancy and also postpartum are the greens. So I love the kamut, which is a blend of amazing different grasses, and then also barley grass juice and um, uh, spirulina, also cracked cell chlorella in all the forms I've taken it in. So like tablets and powders, just whatever's easiest. That's what I'll take that day. And also cocoa mint spirulina. So there's all these really amazing things. And then also the minerals. So I can't remember what it's called right now.
Ionic elements?
Yes, ionic elements. Yep, yep. And then before I got pregnant, so like supporting my adrenals, because that was a huge piece of the sleep, the really poor sleep was just adrenal imbalance. And your adrenals are in charge of regulating those hormones that support your sleep. So being able to support my body with be energetic as well, and then white American ginseng in that stage before getting pregnant, not during pregnancy, but and then another one before getting pregnant, Aloe Digest, which I love to mix the Aloe Digest with the greens and then cocoa hydrate separately with the greens because it just adds a little bit of sweetness to the greens, which can be a little bit bitter sometimes, but I have found that I do take it straight pretty well now. And then the other one that I also love is Can't Beat This, which I'll have from time to time in just low amounts because it does have some natural caffeine in it. But I love having that, just nourishing the blood. And I love having that with the cocoa hydrate too. So sometimes I'll mix that. And then also biofruit. So I mean, I have a lot, but it's been, years since I've been doing this now. And I know what I like. I know what works really well and was really supportive for my body. So a lot of different things that you can test and try and see what works best for you and see what you like. and then even going in and passing this into, my baby and my daughter's life. She started having her greens, when she was super young, so like under a year, and started having epigenous when she was over a year. So incorporating that has been such a blessing too, because I know that she's getting the nutrition she needs, even if someday she's like picky and doesn't want to eat certain things, but she'll always be ready to have a shake. So those are some of the things.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming back on and sharing all of those amazing products that you're using because they all, in combination and standalone, have so many benefits. And so just being able to hear what it is that has worked for you can really be empowering to somebody else that might be looking at all of the superfoods that we have, because we have nearly 70 of them, and being a little bit overwhelmed with our selection. It can really help to fine tune the selection, knowing that that's what worked really well for you. So thanks for sharing that with us today.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be every day. It's just, there's certain stages that you need things in. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nicole. Is there anybody else that would like to share a story today? You can go ahead and raise your virtual hand and we'll have you come on. Otherwise, we'll continue with our presentation. Dominique, was there anything you wanted to add on?
Yeah, I mean, one, I was just going to congratulate Nicole on your second baby, and also just, you being in it, feeling strong in your body and energetic, especially just to come on the call and share your story. But like, Naiva mentioned all the things that you've incorporated in, but the number one thing I think is so powerful with what you said was being able to, transition your career, transition the job that you were in, because sometimes a lot of the stress that we're under is really because of the environments that we're, in. Like I said, if it's a job, if it's a relationship, if it's family, and sometimes it can feel really overwhelming to just make a lifestyle change when it comes to those types of, situations. But when it's affecting our health and our well-being, right, our emotional health, we have to find healthy boundaries. And I just want to honor you for making that decision. And just seeing how your life has transformed is such a testimony for so many women to know that it's safe for them to do the same. And yeah, all the superfoods you posted, which we're going to go a little bit more in depth with some of them. And I know Naiva dropped them in the chat if you were trying to figure out, all the ones that Nicole mentioned. But like Naiva said, there's so many resources that we have, and it doesn't have to be all of them together. It can be them standalone. Find your balance. The whole point, especially when it comes to PCOS or any type of hormonal imbalances, is to find ease. And so wherever you can start, power shake, a ULT, bio fruit, whatever, add that in. And if you starts to create more ease for you and sustainability in your health, and then you can add on and compound more of the superfoods. But we're going to go a little bit more in depth with how each one of these, products can support your hormonal health and also alleviating some of the stress that your liver might be under when it comes to PCOS.
Absolutely. Do you want to go ahead and dive in or you want me to start?
Let me see. So I guess if you want, you can go ahead and start with the ULT, and I can share my screen and pull it up
Okay,
and
perfect.
kind of toggle back and forth with some of the products too.
Absolutely. So, yeah, the best way to get started is really with what we call the ultimate lifestyle transformation. It's the way that most people get started. It's not a one size fits all, but it's what our bodies need, right? So, it's the building blocks for just really being able to get the nutrition we need into our body on a cellular level every single day. And the components that come with it are really amazing because it's really targeting having your protein every day, your fruits every day, your vegetables every day, and also helping to support your gut health. And so those four things really help to support our overall body of doing its job of staying healthy and whatever it needs to do next, right? And so it can really also reduce stress of trying to figure out what to eat or when to eat, and it can also really help with those choices of what we're going to eat because a lot of times we are in a hurry and we do need something quick and easy and nourishing, right? And so what I found is that a lot of foods out there might be quick and easy, but they're not very nourishing. So it leaves us feeling like we need more. And so with this, when you take in these superfoods, there's different there's some variations of what superfoods you can choose to come in your ultimate lifestyle transformation. So that way we can really tailor it closer to exactly what you need. Um, So Purium superfoods are all organic, they're non-GMO, they're free of glyphosate, and they're really designed to help restore your body. So first it's detox, and then repair, and then restore, right? And so that's how it really works, is that our body has to go through these different steps so that we can have better health. And so let me just see. And so that's the ultimate lifestyle transformation that she's showing you. You can see within these components here, you're getting 60 servings. So you're getting enough there's different ways that you can use it within your lifestyle. What we recommend is doing 2 shakes a day, having the aminos twice a day. So the aminos are your pure vegan protein. They're 99% net utilized into the body. They help you to build muscle, they help you to burn fat, they help with your collagen production. And so they really help with so many things, but they are like the cellular building blocks. That's what aminos are. It's what your body lives off of. And so it's a pure form of aminos that absorbs into your body within 23 minutes. And those are absolutely incredible for people of all walks of life. No matter what you're dealing with, it's just really helpful for your body to get that pure source of protein. And then you're getting the cherry juice, which is your fruit component. It helps with inflammation. It helps to get rid of free radicals in your body while you're sleeping, so it helps to detoxify your body. It's really helpful for your liver and your organs, right? These really dark pigmented fruits can really be so helpful. And they can also help with your inflammation. And we talked about how inflammation can be a precursor to PCOS as well. And so that can help reduce inflammation. And then the biomedic in the front, that helps to detox glyphosate. And like we mentioned, glyphosate's in a lot of our foods. So being able to get rid of this chemical in our body can really help us to have a better way to digest our food, to process what's going into our body, and really absorb the nutrients. Because if your gut is compromised, your body might actually have a hard time absorbing the nutrients that you're giving it. And then you're constantly feeling hungry and not satisfied because your body actually isn't absorbing the nutrients from all the wonderful food you're putting into it. So that's one of our standalone amazing products. And then the Power Shake, or the shake that you choose to get with your package. The Power Shake is our most popular. It's a green shake. It is absolutely incredible. It has all your micro and macronutrients in it. It's filling, it's delicious, and let's face it, most of us aren't eating enough vegetables every day. So it's a really great way to get several servings of green vegetables into your body, and our bodies actually crave that. And it's so helpful for our body to have some of these greens, right? These bitters and things that we might not incorporate into our daily life or our diet. And so it's a really easy, tasty way to get it into your daily life. And so within this package, you're getting 60 servings. So what we recommend is using it twice a day and still having 1 or 2 healthy meals a day, and some healthy snacks. We walk you through all of that when you reach out to the person that invited you here. They can help explain more about the program, and of course tailor it to you if you want to have a few different flavors of shakes for that 60 servings, you can get a customizable pack. And so, Dominique, is there anything you wanted to add on to that as well? There's also the super cleanser, which I didn't even mention.
Yeah, no, no worries. I can mention the super cleanser, but like we mentioned earlier, right? When we are thinking about creating safety in our body, which is our first home, we want to add in things that can create more ease, and that's everything that Naima just mentioned in the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. Just really bringing more blood flow, more oxygen to the body through the Power Shake, right? All the greens, the Biomedic, really just being able to alleviate toxins. I remember even when I first started drinking the Power Shake, which a lot of you probably contested or share, your testimony with it too, but you feel so nourished with less. And I think that sometimes we feel like we need so much more to feel grounded or to feel nourished or feel safe in our body. But this program, especially the Power Shake, really shows you that less can be more and you can actually feel more, empowered in that state of being too. Like she mentioned, the apothecary, having the dark pigment really supports the liver at night when your body is at rest. I know Nicole mentioned just being able to get that deep, restful sleep really supports your nervous system, and allowing your blood sugar to balance. But I know she didn't get to touch on the super cleanser, which I feel is like one of the most powerful components to this program because it really does create that space of allowing your body to feel safe to release. So the Super Cleansara is a very gentle parasite component. It's what you'll do 10 days within the program. And as you are nourishing your body with the Power Shake, the Super Aminos, the Biomedic, and the Apothecary, when you add in the parasite component, it really starts to just alleviate any excess waste, fungi, yeast. I also like to look at things from an energetic standpoint. So any type of like trapped emotions that might be lingering in, really just allow your body to release them with ease. It's not a laxative, so it isn't anything that's going to put any over stress on your body, which is why we know we share this, is because we want to create ease. But you notice that things start to release and you have a lot more clarity, you feel more connected to yourself, and you feel more empowered to move through your life in the state of being that you want to be in. So the Super Cleanser is a really key component. I know it's also important to alleviate stress from the liver, which also supports your hormone balance when it comes to PCOS. But this is like our gateway program, and any products that you start with here are a great way to create balance in your body.
Thank you for that, Dominique. So yeah, that's how most people get started. And I've actually seen incredible results. We have so many testimonials about how it has supported people from all walks of life. And really it's adding subtraction by addition, where you're adding in these superfoods on a daily basis. And slowly the things that are no longer serving you will just fall to the wayside. And so you don't have to beat yourself up or transition overnight. It's something that you can take the time to do, but you'll see on your own that as you start incorporating these superfoods, you might not crave some of the other foods that are not so good for you. And and so then it will naturally just happen without you having to put a whole lot of pressure on yourself. So take it easy. Don't worry. You don't have to transition overnight. This is life, right? We have a whole life to live and everything takes time. And we have to remember too that we didn't accumulate the symptoms that we have overnight either. It took time to get to where you're at and to make that decision that we want to feel better or that we want to find a solution that actually is going to work for us long term. And so it's going to take time. Right. So I just want to remind everybody that, we can't expect any like quick fix miracles like Nicole had shared, it took her some months to get into where she totally felt better and didn't have those symptoms anymore. So the best way to start is with the ultimate lifestyle transformation. And then part of that is, really like Dominique mentioned, supporting your gut, supporting your liver is so important because a lot of times issues that we have in our skin is coming from the issues that we have in our body, specifically with our gut and our liver. And so we mentioned the biomedic, which helps to remove glyphosate and it helps to support gut health. And it actually helps to regrow your microvilli so that you can absorb your nutrients better. And that's really important. We don't even realize how important it is and how a lot of our cravings might come from the fact that we aren't even absorbing nutrients from the food. And so we think we're still hungry, but really our body just hasn't absorbed the nutrients from the food that we ate. And so, the Biomedic is an incredible product and something that we highly recommend. And it's part of the ultimate lifestyle transformation. So we already did mention that. But some of the things you can add on, and Nicole spoke about some of these, is the Croxel chlorella. Croxel chlorella is really great at detoxing heavy metals, especially when you put it in combination with fulvic zeolite. And so those two together can really create a gentle detox for heavy metal removal and reducing endocrine disruptors that interfere with our hormones. And so that can be really important and a great supportive protocol that you can add on to the ultimate lifestyle transformation for that additional heavy metal detox. But in addition, the fulvic zeolite has so many minerals that our body, needs, and then also the Crackcell chlorella has cell growth factor. And so it helps you to build your healthy blood cells a lot faster, but it also helps to detox. So it has multiple benefits and it's something that I love to incorporate into a lot of programs when I'm getting people started because a lot of us have heavy metal overload from all of the toxins in our environment. And so this isn't just for, if you have PCOS or you're dealing with these symptoms, it could be very helpful, but it's really helpful for everybody across the board as well. Dominique, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, I love cracked cell chlorella. I prefer the tablets over the powder. My sister loves the powder. I like the tablets. I call them like my little healthy green Skittles because they're so small, but you can just take them and chew on them. But yeah, any greens are just the key to balancing the blood sugar and in combination with biomedic, right? Allowing your gut to be able to absorb all those nutrients and then also calming the nervous system through the gut, allows you to create space for flow and ease throughout the body.
Absolutely. I'm with you with liking the tablets. So if you're having to choose between the tablets or the powder,
Take the
I
tab.
also prefer the tablets because I can swallow them. I don't have to chew them or taste them. But the other thing that I like is that my kids like to eat the tablets too. And like Nicole mentioned, that her older daughter, who's a few years old now, likes to have her green drink and have some of the superfoods. I also started my youngest son out on superfoods when he was about 9 months old. I gave him a sip of my power shake and he loved it. And then once he started eating food when he had teeth, maybe when he was 1.5 or 2 years old, I started giving him the chlorella tablets. And I actually had him convinced that it was called candy. So when he'd ask for candy, I'd give him chlorella tablets and he would just eat them. And so he was also always a really healthy kid. And the best thing about that is that his body was naturally detoxing things that maybe weren't good for him. And also, he was getting that cell growth factor. So his brain was getting all the omegas and his body was getting all these extra nutrients to help him grow a healthy, strong body. And so chlorella has so many benefits, and especially, it's really good. For detoxifying, so you have that good healthy skin and healthy gut, and you're getting all of those enzymes and all of that from seaweeds that are so good also for other parts of your body, like your thyroid, right? We know that those are really good, those dark greens. And so getting that chlorella in on a daily basis and having it for all ages, right? Having it for all of our kiddos. But with my son particularly, he was able to start eating those and he's 11 now and still comes home from school and asks me for the crock cell chlorella and eats them like they're candy. And so it's a really great thing to have around for the kids of all ages. But what I was saying was that as something that helps to grow cells faster, it can really help to replenish your body and then also prepare your body for building a baby. And so, if infertility is an issue that you've been dealing with, then the cracked cell chlorella is really helpful in rebuilding healthy blood cells. And then, of course, once you're growing a baby, it's just going to help feed your healthy baby as well throughout your pregnancy. And then you can continue with cracked cell chlorella in your postpartum time as well. And it's so healthy for you and for, the symptoms, to reduce the symptoms, but also to get you prepared for having a baby and when you have a baby. Um, so Croxel chlorella is great. I also want to talk about hormonal balance. Dominique, do you want to touch on this first and then I'll follow up?
Yeah, I want to share my screen. Another one of the products that we offer that is fairly new is menopositive. And that has been a game changer for literally every woman that I've introduced it to, no matter where you are on the spectrum. If you are dealing with, PCOS, if you are perimenopause, if you are maybe a teenager, and you're just struggling with, uncomfortable periods, heavy periods, whatever you are on that spectrum, menopositive has been such a game changer for so many people I've shared it with. One of the first things is just noticing that their mood is more in balance. I actually have a friend, she's a doula in Iowa, and she lives near a lot of corn and soy fields. And she has been on this lifestyle, appearing lifestyle for a few years. And biomedic has been just a game changer for her health. But when we added in menopositive, she's just completely noticed her mood. She actually texted me today and she said, she was like, I love it. This is her second month. And she said, I feel happy again. She was like, I have my days, but I can see the sunrise. And I just think that that's so important when we're thinking about PCOS and just having a lot of stress in our lives as women. Adding this in can alleviate that. And it's, just a small tincture. It actually tastes really good. So you don't have to add it to your shake if you don't want to. You can put it, just straight over your tongue. But yeah, just really allowing your body to kind of come back into nature and find that balance through all of these incredible herbs. I know that it has the white American ginseng in it, which is amazing, but we also have white American ginseng separate. And that's one of my favorites. I love white American ginseng. It tastes amazing. I actually just shared this with my mom recently because she is caregiving to one of her church members, and she's just been under a lot of stress. So I just was like, I think you should add this in. And she's like, oh my gosh, like I feel so calm when I'm driving now. I don't feel overwhelmed. And so, anything that you can add in that's connected to nature to kind of alleviate that stress is really important. And then obviously if it's going to support your hormonal balance, it's even better. But yeah, Mental Positive is a key hormonal support, I would say, that we offer.
Absolutely. I love the menopositive. It has really supported me as well because I was somebody who actually had very irregular periods growing up. Ever since I first got my period when I was 13, I would have them anywhere from, 2 weeks to 3 months apart at any given time, which can be very confusing growing up. And also, you just can't really ever know when it's going to happen. And so it was really frustrating at times. And ever since using menopositive for like the past year since it came out, I've had really regular periods. So I can attest to that, that it has definitely helped to balance my hormones in that way. The other one that has been super supportive to me is the Women's Defense. And it's a blend that we've had around for a while. It's really supportive for women's hormones, helping you just have, a good balanced hormone. It's got really great ingredients and can really be supportive to the whole process as well. Dominique, I don't know if you were gonna pull up the screen for that. Um, but that one is another very supportive one. It has similar ingredients to the tincture, but it's a herbal capsule, and it's something that I find to be really supportive when we're talking about balancing hormones. And, sometimes having a multi-layer approach can be very helpful as well. And this has, you can see what the ingredients are in here. It's different than the tincture, but it's again just another really supportive blend. So I really love that one. Thanks, Dominique, for sharing the screen on that. And let's see here. So, the other parts that we want to talk about is like blood sugar balancing, right? So, balancing your blood sugar can also be really important. And the barley greens juice is super supportive for that, in addition to any of our green superfood shakes, right? All the greens can really be supportive in balancing your blood sugar levels. Um, and then the one that I like is the barley greens juice because it has so many other benefits. Barley greens has a ton of minerals in it. It is really easy to absorb into your body because it's just the barley greens juice. So it's just a grass juice. But it can really help to alleviate some inflammation. It can help to balance your blood sugar. We also recommend it for, women that might have gestational diabetes or people with diabetes in general that have blood sugar issues. The barley greens juice can really support in that phase, but it can also help when you're in the phase of having a baby and producing milk. The barley greens juice also helps to increase your milk supply. So that can be really supportive for women that have a hard time creating enough milk for their baby as well. Um, but this can really be helpful with, helping to stabilize your insulin levels and reducing the androgen spikes by having a superfood shake during the day to really help you, especially like instead of getting hungry and then grabbing something on the go that isn't the healthiest choice, just being able to have your power shake with you no matter where you are, it can just be a game changer in balancing your blood sugar and giving you something to really just give back to yourself. And I can attest to having my superfoods in the car with me all the time. My kids will tell you, like, I pull up to the beach or I pull up to the park or certain places, and I have a shaker cup already with water in it, and I just dump my superfoods in there and shake it up, throughout the day at different places, depending on where I'm at and what I'm doing, and me needing to nourish myself on the spot instead of, before I go do groceries, instead of buying something in the grocery store that I actually don't really want to eat. And so I know that can happen for a lot of us is we go into the store, we're hungry, and we just grab the things even though it's not our first pick. And so this can really help in those situations as well. Dominique, what else would you like to add?
Yeah, I wanted to add to that the women's defense, as well as the barley green juice that we covered. I know we touched on kamut too. I don't think I pulled it up, but I wanted to just remind you that these products are actually a part of our 3 and free incentive program. So when you order them consistently 3 months in a row, and I also believe with a smart order on file, then you will get the 4th month for free. And when we think about, like Naiva said, being able to give ourselves grace, to look at this as not like a race to try to rush through and, change your hormones overnight, but to give yourself grace and consistency over time to really compound and strengthen your hormones. I love that these products are a part of that program because it gives you time to measure and also just, give your body grace as it begins to transform, because that's what's happening. So the barley green juice, the kamut green juice, which is one of my favorite green juices, as well as the Women's Defense, are great products that are part of the 3 and free program.
Absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that. And so everything that we mentioned here today is just really to be supportive to whatever it is that you're going through. But we always want to recommend that you reach back out to the person that invited you here or share this replay with you, because they can really help tailor the program for you and help to figure out what superfoods are best going to benefit you and your current situation, right? Depending on your symptoms, depending on your current lifestyle. We really want to support you where you're at. And like Dominique just mentioned, again, it is a lifestyle. It's something that we want to incorporate into your life on a daily basis. It's not like something that's going to happen overnight for you. And we want to really encourage you to have that kind of mindset. That, it's not just for 30 days, but it's for 90 days, it's for 120 days, it's for the next 11 years. Like I've been using it for 11 years now. It's something that is so good that I've never stopped using it because it supports me on a cellular level every single day. It's something I love to share with my family. I love to share with the people in my community because it's something that has changed my life. And so what we want is we want to share this with you and watch it transform your life so that you can really be your most vibrant, healthy self and, be able to do the things that you want to do. And if that means being able to have a baby and create a family, then that's what we want for you to be able to do. And if it's just to alleviate the symptoms and feel better in your body, then that's what we want for you to accomplish. And so we're just here to support you and to offer this information. Please reach back out to the person that invited you here. Um, Dominique, was there any last things that you wanted to share? Did you want to pull up the closeout screen?
Yeah. I just want to, like Naiva said, wherever you are on your journey, we're here to support you. We want you to feel encouraged. We want you to feel supported. We want you to feel just excited for this transformation, right? It's not always fun, but when you have people around you that can support you and you know that you're giving yourself grace through it, you can feel a lot more supported. So I see Veronica has her hand raised. Veronica, do you have a question? Do you have a story you'd like to share?
I have a
Veronica?
question.
Yeah.
Um, can can I drink the aminos with the epigenous family together?
Absolutely. Yes. You can blend them together. You can take them separately, but yeah, you can, all of our superfoods you can combine, which is also makes it a lot easier for a busy
Oh,
lifestyle.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for asking. I see someone else has their hand raised. I know it says iPhone. I'll just ask you to unmute, but I see your hand.
I'm under Mary Beth Fleming. I just wanted to thank you for having this tonight. It's beautifully formatted. I've been on this since 2021. 21 years old and had morbidity factors. And I wanted to share with your group that initially I bought the Core 4 because I was intimidated that I couldn't afford in retirement the ULT. And I want your group to know that I took the Core 4 for one night and just woke up after a full night's sleep and I felt 10 years younger. I
Wow.
know that sounds like I'm over exaggerating, but it's exactly what happened. So I ended up spending more money
Mm.
because I called and I said to my upline, get me the ULT. Because if the Core 4 did this, I can only
Exactly.
imagine what'll happen if I do the ULT. Then the other point I wanted to share with you from a business perspective is share that if any of you are brand partners, because if you jump on, even if you fudge the ULT a little bit, you're going to be 90 to 110% better than you were yesterday.
Mm.
So don't get too over concerned if you feel that you need to have more carrots or more whatever. Just learn, use it to learn your body, because your body will talk to you through the ULT and get you through that. So I wanted to share that also. And there's just really, in these times, nothing better for all of us. I don't know, honestly, I haven't ordered in a long time. I don't know if we still have the juice bar, but given the supply chain things that we're anticipating, I really recommend that all of you consider buying the juice bar and supplementing with it because of the incredible, incredible minerals and nutrients that you get from juice bar supplemental to your normal green power drink. So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story. Yes, we do still have the juice bar. And yeah, like you mentioned, you can start wherever feels best for you. And if it's not the ULT and you start somewhere small, you will trust me. Can't wait to start the ULT. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. And I know we do, unfortunately, we don't have time for another testimonial. Bruno, I'm sorry, I saw you had your hand raised because we do have the Spanish call that's coming soon, but I do want to share how you can stay connected with us. So we have these calls every Thursday, and we kind of cycle through different topics. So next Thursday, I will actually be speaking about the business opportunity that we have here with Purium, and just honestly cultivating a space where we can celebrate our gifts, right? Our strengths, what makes us special, what makes our unique stories important, so that we can share our strengths and be able to empower others in our community. So join me next Thursday if you are interested in creating extra income for your family and you want to create it in a space that does alleviate stress from your life, but really allows you to celebrate your gifts. The third Thursday, we're going to be talking about autism. So you can come back and join us, how you can support your family or people who are on the spectrum through the superfoods. And then the last Thursday of the month, we highlight family health and nutrition. We're going to be targeting and talking about childhood cancer and how we have solutions to support people in alleviating a lot of the symptoms that they're struggling with. So feel free to screenshot this slide here as well as the QR code. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this call will be uploaded soon. So you can share it with anyone that you come across that is struggling with PCOS, or all the other, thousands of videos we have. So thank you all so much for joining us. And if you are here for